My name is Kristen and I'm a special needs mom. Today I'm going to talk about my daughter Kaylyn, who has type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed when she was 6. If you have any questions or comments, could you please leave those in the description below? And could you please hit the like and subscribe button? That way I can get out into the YouTube universe. Okay, without further ado, here is my vlog about special needs parenting a child that has type 1 diabetes. I'm going to talk about my daughter Kaylyn. She's 17 and a senior, and she has type 1 diabetes. My nephew told me he wasn't going to watch any more of my vlogs until I talked about Kaylyn, so here you go, Thomas. Now you need to share with all your friends. All right, so here we go. Kaylyn was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 6 years old on August 5th, 2008. And before that, we were a typical family. She did all the things. She played t-ball. She danced. She had lots of friends. She went to sleepovers. So I'm going to tell you all about the day that I found out she was diagnosed. Kaylyn was feeling sick and she had wet the bed a few times. She was complaining about stomach pains and she just was not herself. She was miserable. I had waited to see if it would pass and it wasn't passing. And I made an appointment with her doctor. I dropped Sam off at his grandparents that day. And Kaylyn and I headed over and we went and saw the doctor and he did an exam. He didn't find anything out of the ordinary with her. He thought she had acid reflux and recommended some Mylanta, and she had a yeast infection, which I had never seen that. She had anything like that before. But besides that, he thought maybe she had a virus and these things were acting up a little bit because of that virus. He was sending us home, and then on the way out the door, he said to me, "Wait, can you wait a minute?" And I'm like, "All right." He goes, "I don't think so, but just in case, can you have her do a urine sample so we can just rule some things out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, might as well." Kaylyn had already gone to the bath, so I said to him, "Can we take this and I'll bring it back to you right after she goes?" They're like, "Yeah, no problem. Just make sure you come back before we close." And it was later in the day. It was probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We went to her grandparents. We lived right next door to her grandparents, and we picked up her brother. And when she was there, she was able to finally go. So I loaded the kids up. We went back to Westbrook. That's where their pediatrician was and actually still is. So we loaded them back up. I brought in the urine sample and we left and off to Rite Aid. We went to Rite Aid and we were in the store. And when we were in there, Kaylyn had to go to the bathroom. So we all went into the bathroom and she went. We looked for her stuff and we found, I remember finding Mylanta and getting her cream and all that stuff and just getting her the things to help her through this illness. We went out to the car and I had a cell phone at the time. Now remember, this was how many years ago? This was 11 years ago, and I didn't carry my cell phone all the time. It was really just for emergencies because we really didn't have a reception. The doctor's office did have that number. I looked at my phone and I had 5 missed calls from the doctor. And I was like, geez, like what the heck? So I called the doctor and they said, "I hate to tell you this over the phone, but Kaylyn has type 1 diabetes. You need to get her to the emergency room immediately." And that's when I found out she had type 1 diabetes. I didn't believe it though. I thought it was surreal. I didn't even really know what type 1 diabetes was. It's an autoimmune disorder when your pancreas is attacked and eventually it's killed and it dies. I brought Sam back to his grandparents. It's kind of early, but I know that I got put Sam somewhere safe. So we got Sam somewhere safe. We drove into Portland. We went to Main Med and I checked in and they said to me, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Her doctor called." Doctor was standing right there when we were checking in, and there were cubicles lined up at the time. And he goes, "She has type 1 diabetes. She's with me. I need to take her now." And I was like, all right. So then I knew my life was going to change as a parent. And I was at that day, that's when I became a special needs parent, because life changed forever for us at that point. It wasn't the same. He brought us in. We went right into a room. They poked her, got all kinds of blood out of her. Her blood sugar registered in the thousands. She was like this close from DKA, like this close from dying. And I don't even know if she knows that. It was this close. So we made it to the doctor in time. And then the next 3 days was a whirlwind. My mom came up and helped, and it was a whirlwind for the adults. Kaylyn thought she was having a vacation. Like, she thought there was a big party, that she was having a big sleepover at the hospital. She was getting all kinds of attention. She was getting insulin. She was starting to feel better. So Kaylyn thought it was a big party. The adults, on the other hand, it was like we were hit in the gut we were just hit in the gut. Like, we were numb. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like your world's coming down, and you're just given all this information, and you're trying to learn so much about type 1 diabetes, because which happens when you're a parent of a type 1 diabetic, especially when they're really little, like 6 years old, 6 until probably teenagers, is you are their pancreas. You are there to learn how to be their pancreas, and you are responsible to keep your child alive. And that, you're responsible to keep your child alive anyway. Having a pancreas to your child is a huge responsibility, and it affects everything. And I knew it. It was really hard to deal with, and it's still hard to deal with sometimes, to know that your child has this illness and you can't fix it. It's something that you can't make go away. You can't make it better, and you need to just help them learn how to deal with it. So we did that for 3 days, got her better, got her hydrated, and then we started her type 1 diabetes journey. And it has been a journey. It hasn't been easy. And hopefully someday they find a cure so that Kaylyn can remember what it's like again to eat and not have to worry about that, or just go somewhere, go on a trip and not worry about taking care of her type 1 diabetes, because it's a lot for her to handle, and I know it. And Kaylyn has had to deal with a lot in her life, in her young life, things that I've never had to deal with until I was an adult. I came from a nuclear family. We didn't really have major problems. I mean, normal problems, but nothing big. And then Kaylyn has had to, as a special needs parent, knowing this, Kaylyn has had to deal with, she was the start of my special needs, but she's also had to take on her brother's special needs and her sister's special needs. And that hasn't gotten past me, that Kaylyn has done an exceptional job of navigating her diabetes. And I give her trouble, and I know she's going to watch this, and I'm hard on her because I want her to do well, but everybody has things, and I want her to know that. I want her to know that everybody has hard times, and hopefully her hard times were when she was younger, when she was growing up. So I think it's made her a strong person. She is an exceptional sister. She loves her brother and sister to death, and she's always trying to think of things to do with her brother and sister. So, and she's a great student. She wants to go to college. Well, she is going to go to college. She wants to do something genetics and pharmaceuticals, because of our family, to find, that has sparked her interest. So she wants to go into the biology field. She has dealt with, and it has been hard at times for her with type 1 diabetes, and done a really good job. She goes to school. I had to make sure they were safe with her. You need to learn how to be your pancreas, the insulin to carb ratios. Whenever she went to a sleepover, I would just worry about her being awake in the morning. And I still do worry about that. When I hear from her, I'm like, oh, good, she's alive. And that's not a normal thought. That's not something I think about with the other two. I'm not like, oh, good, they're alive. Like with Kaylyn, it's always, oh, good, she's alive. And that's the thought that pops into my head. I'm really proud of Kaylyn, and I'm really excited for her future. I hope she owns a pharmaceutical genetic company, whatever she wants to do. Family has a genetic deletion, and I have done some research, and I do this all the time because I'm always trying to figure out what to do to help my kids. They found some studies that type 1 diabetes is related to the NX1 deletion that Kira has. And I don't know if Kaylyn and Sam have the deletion. We actually don't know, but we did participate in a study, and our study wasn't published. Whenever I read it, I'm like, oh, is this us? But the study we were in was not published, but they found a family where a mother had type 1 diabetes and some children had type 1 diabetes, and the deletion was in there. So it'll be interesting to see in the future if this deletion is related to type 1 diabetes. There's a lot that goes on with type 1 diabetes care because you have to be the pancreas. It's not like type 2. You can't just watch what you eat. People are like, oh, you can't have carbs, and that's not type 1 diabetes. Yeah, you should probably reduce your carbs, but that's not type 1 diabetes. You have to take insulin to keep you alive. So like I said, I'm really proud of Kaylyn, and I think she's going to do great things. Can you please press the like and subscribe button? That way I can get out into the YouTube universe. They have this algorithm thing that the more likes and subscribing you get, then you get out there. Are you a special needs parent? Do you have this deletion that our family has? Leave me a comment. Even if you have a question. I've had 3 people reach out to me about this gene deletion, and then a few have reached out to me about keto, and that's why I do my channel. I want to help people. We have been through a lot, but you can make it through it and you can be happy. So that's what I want to share. I want to share that life throws you things, but you deal with it and you move on. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day.